Do you want to control which block of code runs and which one doesn't in your Python program? In today's video, you will learn how to make decisions in Python and control the flow of your code using conditional statements. Hello learners, welcome to your learning hub, The Learning Loop. I am Swati Sharma and this is the 24th video of my beginner friendly Python course series. If you're joining me for the first time, thank you for dropping by. And if you haven't checked out my previous videos yet and you're starting out your Python journey, I will highly recommend you to go back and check those out so that you are all caught up. And before we begin, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, go ahead and press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you do not miss out on any future videos. In today's video, we will begin the conditional statements in Python, and today we are covering the if statements. So, without a further ado, let's dive in. Let's first understand what are conditional statements. Conditional statements allows your program to make decisions. In simple words, if this condition is true, then run this block of code. If this condition is false, then the block is skipped. Before writing our first if statement, we need to understand something very important, indentation. Indentation means adding spaces at the beginning of the line to define a block of code. Now in Python, indentation is mandatory because it tells Python that this block of code or these lines belong together. Let's say I write an if statement, and we will discuss the syntax just in few minutes, right? And then I put a colon and then I hit enter. Now after this if statement, there would be space left. This will be mostly 4 spaces or 1 tab. And after this, once we have hit enter and the spaces are left, we will write another line of code. Now, this indentation will tell that this whole block is one code or one block of code. It would mean that this second line belongs to this if statement, that it should run after this if statement, or if it satisfies the if statement, that this whole thing is one block of code or they belong together. So that's the importance of indentation. Let's discuss the syntax of if statement. You will write if and then you will give the condition to satisfy and then you will end the line with colon. Now you will hit enter. Once you hit enter, the next line will be indented, which means it will have 4 spaces in the beginning. And then you will write the action to perform. If the above condition is true, this action will be performed. If not, then nothing would be done. This whole block would be skipped. And with the indentation, the Python would know that this particular line of code belongs to the if statement, or these 2 lines belong together or are one block of code. Let's understand this with an example. Let's see if a person can vote. We will give a condition that if a person is over 18, then he can vote. In Google Colab, you would also see as soon as I put colon and hit enter, it will indent my line automatically. Now that happens in IDEs like Google Colab, VS Code, Spider automatically. Whenever you hit enter, it will give those 4 spaces automatically. So let's first understand if statement on Google Colab and how it works. And I will also paste the link to this particular notebook in my description box so that if you want to come back and look at the code, you can go ahead and do that. So let's say I give a variable age and I say the person is 23 years old, or I save it as 23. Now I'll give the if statement. I'll write if, now the condition. I write the condition age greater than is equal to 18. I put colon, I hit enter, and you can see the line is automatically indented. I don't have to give the spaces manually. And I can write print, and I'll write you can vote. Now I would run this line, and you can see it has been printed as you can vote because the variable age is 23, which is greater than 18, and this condition is satisfied. This condition is true, and that is why it went to the next line and printed you can vote. If this condition would have been false, nothing would have been printed. Let's say I write age 2 and I hit run it again, and you can see nothing is printed because the condition is false. So the next line in this block of code has been skipped. Now let's understand this with the input function as well. Let's make it more dynamic. Let's say I say age and I'll say int, because by default using input function everything is stored as string. So I want the output as integer. So that's why I will hard coded as integer. So I'll write input and then write enter your age. Just in case you're not aware of the input function, I have already covered that in my previous videos. I'll post the link anywhere above. You can go ahead and check that out and see how the input function works and behaves. And now let's do the same thing. I'll give the same if statement and I'll say if age greater than is equal to 18, and I will print you can vote. Okay. Now let's run it. Now I have to enter the age. Let's say I say 45. I hit enter. You can see I got the answer as you can vote because 45 is greater than 18. Let's run it again and let's say I write 14. And you can say nothing is printed because the above condition is not satisfied. Now there is one more important thing that I would like to discuss. Let's say I write if eat and then give the next line or block of code. How the Python will interpret that. You might come across such statements where there is nothing to compare with. You need to understand there is something called as truthy and falsy. Here Python will check if this variable is truthy or falsy. Now it will treat the variable as falsy if that variable contains 0, null, empty string or empty list. All these will be treated as falsy, which means it will result in false. If anything else would be treated as true. So let's understand this with an example. Let's say I run a bakery and I'm asking people what they would like to eat, and I've also given an option that if you want to skip you can hit enter. Okay, so let's say I write the variable as eat and I do input and I want a string. Okay, so I'll write what would you like to eat today, and then I'll write in brackets hit enter to skip. Okay, and that's it. And now I will give the condition. I'll say if and then I say eat. So if the person has hit enter without writing anything, which means he doesn't want to eat, so we will skip this whole block of code. Okay, and if he or she has written anything, then we will run all these statements. Let's say I write print welcome to ABC Bakery, and then the next line I say you would like to eat. Now you see the next hit, when I hit enter, the next line is automatically indented. If you don't want this line should be part of this block of code, you can remove this, you can hit double enter and remove it, or you can do backspace. So the Python will read as a new line of code, not as part of the same if statement. Now if this if above condition, that is if eat is true, all the lines under the if statement would run. Okay, so I will write you would like to eat, and I'll just put comma here and I'll say eat. Okay, and then I print next line, please wait for 5 minutes. Okay, now let's run this and see how this behaves. Okay, and let's say this time I do not enter anything. I hit enter and you see nothing because this is an empty string. I have not entered anything, and that is why you see nothing. Okay, let's also do this for your ease. I'll also write print eat here, so you would see what is in that particular variable, what is stored in that variable. So let's do this and I hit enter. You can see it's again empty. There is nothing, which means it's an empty string and it will treat it as false, and that's why the whole block of code, that is the 3 print statements, have not been run. Now let's run it again and I say brownie. And okay, I hit enter and you can see now the print statement, irrespective of if this is true or false, this print statement would run because it's independent. These statements, welcome to ABC Bakery, you would like to eat brownie, please wait for 5 minutes, would run only if this condition eat is true. Now that is true because we have entered some value in it. It's not an empty string and it treats that as true, and that's why you see the whole block of code just ran. Today you learn how to make your program take its first decision. In the next video, we will take it little further and teach Python what to do when the condition is false. And that's where the real control begins. If this video helped you understand if statements more clearly, please like this video and do not forget to subscribe this channel so you don't miss out on the next part of this series. Before you leave, try writing your own example using an if statement and drop it in the comments. I would love to see what you build. Keep learning, keep practicing. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, happy coding!